do not compare yourself to anybody else. And it's easier said than done because, you know, for me, even like in high school, I wasn't highly ranked. And you're always looking at the guys that are ahead of you. But you really have to lean into who you are, what makes you unique, and develop a work ethic around that and a confidence around that. I wish I would have done that even more than I did as a kid, just because that's where your superpower can kind of be born from.
Let's really soak that in for a second. Us as creatives, we're oftentimes compared, you know? Others say, oh, well, this photographer does this. This graphic designer only charges me this, you know? This guy didn't charge me at all. And that starts getting in your head, you know? I don't have the accolades that that guy has. I don't make as much as they do. I don't have the clients that this other person has. But just as you hate when other people compare you can't do that to yourself because you know it sucks. Instead, as Steph Curry said, that was Steph Curry on the intro, by the way. When a champion talks, we need to listen. How do you become a champion? And he said, find out what makes you unique because that's where you find your superpower. So I am theming today's show. No one does what you do. That's right. Nobody does what you do. Can you name one person that does what you do like how you do it? No. Maybe there's a lot of people that do what you do, but they don't do it like how you do it. You get the point. And speaking of that, we've got a lot of stories today that'll help you do you, or even just people that just inspire you because they do them. That's right. Graffiti artist Rams out of the MSK crew. His artwork was spotted at the top of some high towers here in New York City. And there's a new technique going around. And he is definitely one of the pioneers of this style of graffiti. It's amazing. And maybe people just haven't seen what you could do because they haven't had access. You need an action camera to really capture what you do and the way you do it. Maybe this Osmo Action 5 that just came out is the right camera for you. Also, there's a new CEO at Nike. He is the definition of no one does what you do. You know why? Because he started at Nike in 1988 as an intern. And now he will be soon to be CEO of Nike, the brand that he loved so much as a young man. He is returning to the company as CEO. Monumental. We gotta highlight that here at REL and Friends. And finally, more AI talk. Very original way of using AI. Lionsgate inked a deal with AI firm to mine its massive film and TV library. That's right. They're allowing access to an AI company to learn from it, to build a proprietary internal platform where they can use AI to pump out content. This is a very unique way of using AI, and I think this is going to catch on. We'll dive into that story and my thoughts a little bit later. Most importantly, if you want to do it like no one else does it, you need to like and subscribe. You know why? Because no one is doing it. Okay, if you want to be original, if you want to be seen as an outlier, you need to like this post. Okay, wherever you're watching this, whether it's on a podcast streaming app or on YouTube, you need to like it. Okay, then you need to hit the subscribe button. Maybe I'm not saying it right. You need to smash the subscribe button. Maybe I'm speaking the wrong term. Smash the like button. Okay, ring the bell. Is that what they say? Subscribe. I said that. Leave a comment. You know what? Just do whatever you want, all right? Welcome to REL and Friends. Hi. We have some catching up to do here, guys. I'm going to start every show with me taking a sip of coffee. And I'm going to do that right now. Ah, yes. Nespresso. I really like the Nespresso. How are you? How are things? Great. Let me talk about me now. A lot is going on. I'm lying. There's not a lot going on. There is one big thing going on that is kind of driving me insane because it's consuming my mind. And by the time you listen to this, it'll probably be over. But on Thursday, I am hosting a panel. I'm moderating a panel with the creatives behind Bad Bunny's visuals. It's exciting. This is the first gig that I've gotten as, quote, host of REL and Friends. I'm a little nervous. Actually, okay, so I met with the team, all really cool people. Got along really well with everyone that's going to be on the panel. So the rapport is there. They all seem like really cool folks, and eventually I want to get on the podcast. I just haven't spoke in front of an audience in a very long time, and I've been thinking about it a lot. So this is my plan. Okay. I'm going to get there an hour early. And I'm going to drink a lot. Good idea? Bad idea? Let me know. But I won't get the message till after. So I'll let you know. I'm going to let you know how it went in the next episode. But just know that's where I'm at right now. So if I sound a little off, that's what I'm thinking about. What else? Oh, okay. I saw a cool social media clip. OK Player posted an image or a gallery celebrating the anniversary of Lupe Fiasco's debut album. And they used a clip of one of our interviews from back in the day.
And why do you think it took so long for them to recognize you and Chicago as a whole?
Well, I don't know. Me, I was just back. I was just me. You know what I'm saying? I'll be laid back until it approaches me. Then I go. You know what I'm saying? Chicago, to me, we've been rocking. We had Common, we had Crucial Conflict, we had Twister. You know what I'm saying? Kanye, Rhyme Fest coming out banging. You still got kids like Bump J. You still got a bunch of kids that's like still rocking and doing things. But for like the most part, it's like, I just think it's like everybody gonna get their time to shine. But I think Chicago been shining, so it ain't like no time to shine. It's just like we just gonna shine again.
So if you didn't know, I used to produce a TV show called Distortion to Static in the Bay Area. I did it for about a decade. We interviewed a lot of underground, budding hip hop artists from the Bay Area, and even just nationally. Lupe was right on that vibe of what we were really into when he first came out. And so we have a channel called D2S Archives. I suggest everyone go over there and subscribe. Hasn't been updated in a while. We are planning to find some funding so we could get all the archives up. This is 10 years worth of hip hop content that is buried. But me and Halo have been talking and discussing and see how we can find funding to get everything digitized, all the tapes before it disappears. All it takes is one flood in my basement. I've had 2 floods in my basement. All the tapes are here. Okay. Is there going to be another flood that just takes it all out? I don't know. We got to get these digitized now. Anyways, more on that. So I reposted that recently and everyone was like, oh, I didn't know you interviewed Lupe. Well, guess what? I didn't, because that was my brother. My brother did that interview. I reposted with no context because I wanted everyone to think it was me. Usually I was behind the camera with the interviews. And plus, Aris, my brother, he was a huge Lupe Fiasco fan back then. So he did all the Lupe interviews. I think we interviewed him like 3 times total. Will you see that footage ever? Maybe not. But hey, you know what? I think it's that time. Let's get into some news. All right, so let's get into some graffiti news. I know I have not spoke on any graffiti yet, but I love the art and culture behind it. So there's this technique in graffiti now that's gaining popularity by rappelling off of the top of buildings to get these big pieces on top of skyscrapers. I was going through Reddit recently, and people were freaking out because they saw a big Rams piece, 44 stories up on an abandoned high-rise in downtown NYC. Now, Rams is the newest member of the legendary crew, MSK. He's from New Zealand, and he speaks a little bit on how he got in the crew.
How did you get connected with MSK? So I ended up doing a trip, coming out here and then, touring around and meeting everyone. And then pretty much the last city that I went to, they put me in.
I mean, it kind of fits. Like, your graffiti fits well to, like, the MSK style.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's mainly because of, like, Askew's been such a fucking big influence on me. Because, like, in New Zealand, he's really only, I mean, maybe a little bit of Burst too, but he's kind of the guy that's known internationally. I don't know actually how big he is in the States, but yeah, people kind of look at, he's like the well-known writer in that, what do you call it, like mainstream field of graffiti and street art.
Now, MSK is a legendary graffiti crew, as I mentioned. They started in LA. They're known for their crazy styles. They had a real flowy type of style as opposed to like the really square, choppy images that you've seen in early graffiti. They recently celebrated their 35th anniversary in LA, and I'm thinking that's around when Rams joined the crew. Now, Rams, this technique that he's been using is called rappelling, and it sounds like it was a technique that, I mean, we all know that's for like rock climbing. People get on those ropes and they rappel down. I'm far too scared to do something like that. In this interview, this is a longer interview. I recommend you check it out on Living Proof Radio. But he got into rappelling because he said it's a little bit bigger outside of the U.S. As we all know, like people in other countries, they're still running with the essence of what hip hop was for us, the founding elements of what hip hop were. And graffiti has become a whole other thing now. It's not even really a part of hip hop anymore. But the art has become so huge to where it's even infiltrated art galleries. And Rams has been known for doing these huge pieces on skyscrapers all over New York City through rappelling. So he speaks a little bit on how he got into rappelling.
How did you get into rappel graffiti?
Notice told me. Notice took me on my first one.
Where was this?
We were in Philly. It was kind of weird because I was interested in doing rappelling, but I had no idea what any of the stuff was called or what even to research. And so I just looked into rock climbing to because it's the thing that I thought you would need to do this shit. And then, we're on this roof, bro, and I can't remember, it was like a 10-story or 12-story or something. And, dude, he just he did it first, and then he put the gear on me and then explained to me what it was. And then fucking going over that edge was so scary.
That's crazy, yeah.
Dude, especially like you don't understand what any of the gear is. It straight up fucking felt like I was trying to kill myself. Because it's like you're going over this edge and as soon as your center of gravity goes off, it's like you feel like you're going to die. Obviously I'm going to die.
That's insane. That's insane that's your first time.
It's like, it was definitely one of the most scariest points of my life. And then, just did it. My fucking piece was terrible, but I was still happy.
Right.
And then, after that, fucking just wrapped the set and just went from there.
Now, this isn't the highest up that we've seen a Rams piece. Previously, Rams hit up a building that's 66 stories up, also in New York City, I believe. I'm going to put the footage up in this YouTube video. If you're listening on audio, go check out the YouTube clip. It is amazing to see. And also just rappelling in general in this environment. It's also almost like I don't know, like a parkour for rock climbing / art. It's amazing. It looks absolutely terrifying. The footage that I've seen, I would never do it. But also in this interview, Rams explains that when he goes out to do these rappel graffiti pieces, it's almost like 3 missions in one. The first mission is getting to the top of the building. He said you got to get through security, you got to find access. A lot of time you're breaking in. Okay, that's mission 1. The second is actually doing the piece, which I'm sure is terrifying. You got to have someone doing lookout. And then a lot of times they're doing some hidden cameras to film themselves doing it if you want that. And then the third is escaping. You're not done. Once you finish the clip, you got to get out of there. 3 missions in one to get this piece. That is dedication, hard work. For those that aren't into graffiti, look at your local graffiti with this in mind, okay? Not only does it look good, okay, you have to take into account how hard was it to get that piece there. Okay, if you're going to truly appreciate graffiti, you need to appreciate that part as well. Some people are just like, oh, that's ugly. Yeah, but it's like this guy just bombed 3 freeway signs in a row. Okay, he was probably trying to get it done as quick as possible. You need to appreciate that. So I love the art of graffiti, and I love seeing this story pop up on my Reddit randomly. So I had to report it to y'all. Shout out to Rams. Shout out to MSK crew. All right, let's get into some gear talk. Told you, every episode I'm going to be talking about some gear. And this one I was oddly interested in. And I say oddly because it's an action cam. And I have not looked into any action cams in a very long time, since the hype around GoPros back in the day. And the reason why this interests me, so I'm looking for a camera that can be completely versatile. Something I can throw around, something I can let kids play with, and not be afraid that they'll break. I've been thinking a lot about passing on what I know to the next generation, specifically my 2 kids. But every time I let them use my camera, I'm terrified that they're about to drop it and break it. And it's like $6,000 gone like that. And I have to tell them, I'm sorry, but you're not going to college anymore because I got to buy a new camera. I'm exaggerating, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, so this camera is $350. So that already is appealing if it's a tool that I could just toss around and not really be too scared about. So, of course, I started rummaging the internet looking for clips. And one of my favorite YouTubers, Potato Jet, did a real deep dive on this camera.
Pro. So my favorite has to definitely be the improvement of image quality. When I first saw the specs, it was like, yeah, it looks pretty similar to the Action 4 Pro, but when I got it, the first thing I did was a bunch of side-by-side comparisons with the Action 4. We get a lot more dynamic range. I feel like the textures are better, but also auto exposure, which is one of those things that never really shows up on spec sheets. Like, look at this dynamic range right now. Like, you are inside and we have direct sunlight outside. I like the fact that this is super versatile. You know, you could use it in so many different situations, from just like a travel video or vlogging, or as an action camera, of course.
So that sounds cool. I mean, it sounds like the picture quality met his standards. My old GoPros, the quality was always there. I always liked the quality. You know, they're not going to be as good as your mirrorless cameras or your cinema cameras. But this one has a lot of dynamic range, which is great if you're going to be doing a lot of post-production work. So that's cool. There's other features that I would want in a camera like this. One issue that I didn't like about my GoPros was the audio. The audio was really bad. There were ways to attach an outside audio source, but those were kind of finicky, and you had to buy proprietary parts from what I remembered. But this has a very unique way of setting up audio.
Bam. You got a mic and I got a mic now.
So it supports up to how many mics?
2 mics.
2 mics.
So just like the Pocket 3 does.
Yeah.
The last Action only supported 1 mic, which is cool. but what if you got a friend with you? But this is just so convenient.
Yeah.
But the other day I was helping Mateo film some social content. They were both wearing microphones and I was just filming vertically. We were filming two people have a conversation while they're riding e-bikes and smooth stabilized video. I was just following them with the one wheel. Filming something like that from a traditional mindset, that's pretty complex.
Yeah, you need more stuff.
Yeah, but this was just easy.
Okay. So when looking for an action camera, so far it's sounding good. Okay, first of all, do you need an action camera? For me, I think I do. Okay. Picture quality is there. Versatility is there. Sound options are there. What else would I want in an action camera? I tell you what. I want it to last for a very long time. I do not have time for this sort of setup. I want something where I don't need to be grabbing a battery every 30 minutes. If I give it to the kids and just let them run with the camera, say, capture me 2 hours of footage at school, if they allow it, and bring back the footage. I don't want to worry about the battery, running out right when they find the hidden treasure. That would be devastating. Okay. So battery life. And I'm happy to report that Potato Jet did a very deep dive in the battery life.
So not only did it record my entire mountain biking experience, but I gave up, I came home, I took a shower, I made plans with Dylan to meet up to get ramen, and we're on our way to get ramen now. You fed the dogs, I took a shower, and then we are on our way to get dinner, and this is still the same clip. Generally speaking, with like a GoPro, if we do like a motorcycle ride, it's usually like, okay, one battery for the trip out, and then a battery for the trip back. But this is like comfortably just one battery. So it officially died at 203 minutes. That's crazy. Almost 3.5 hours, which is wild.
Okay. 3.5 hours for one battery is completely insane. I don't think any other action camera can operate like that. So that's exciting to hear. So 2 cameras, you get your day covered pretty much. You're not going to be filming for 24 hours. I hope not. Okay, so that's cool. Now, the post-production process, Potato Jet did not hop into. I always had a hard time editing GoPro footage. I don't know if it was just too high res for my computer at the time or proprietary stuff. I really don't know. But one cool thing that I saw in some videos, that there's a feature where you can shoot 6K. You can shoot up to 6K, but it's in a 4:3 frame, okay? 4:3 is the old school TV framing. Now you might be wondering, why do I want an image that's 6K in a 4:3 frame? That's weird. Well, I tell you, no, it's not. It's actually a lot more versatile in post-production because you can crop at a 16:9 and your image will still be 4K. And guess what? You can also crop vertically. You've got all that extra room on the top, the bottom, and both sides. Headroom, lead room, all that. You have a whole lot to work with. If you are an editor that always has to convert 16:9 shot footage into a vertical, you know how hard that is. You end up with a lot of clips of them like tights on their nose for no reason. Just because that, you shot for wide. You weren't thinking about vertical. This really helps it out because you have all this extra space to play with. The camera is $350, which is $50 cheaper than the newest GoPro. And all the picture quality tests that I saw online is saying that this is superior to all other action camera picture qualities at the moment. And it also is in line with its Osmo Pocket 3 that just came out. So you're getting close to that picture quality. I don't think it has that much dynamic range. But hey, it's a camera you could toss around. I'm getting one. All right, let's talk about Nike. How many people still buy Nikes? How many people have really bought any Nikes recently? You might have heard me say I have not bought Nikes this whole year, which is weird. As a sneaker guy, I usually buy several pairs per year. And I have not, I'd say in like a couple of years. And I thought I was the only one. I don't know. I thought maybe I was trying to be different, but it seems like everyone's not buying Nikes because we just heard recently that the current CEO is stepping down. Usually that means that they're forced to step down and he's being replaced.
This week, the company announced the sudden retirement of 4-year CEO John Donahoe. In the past year alone, Nike's stock has fallen as much as 42% off its 52-week peak. Donahoe's resume includes CEO of eBay and software company ServiceNow. But during his time at Nike, analysts say his focus was too much on selling directly to consumers and not enough on providing them with new, innovative products to buy.
Now, I'm sorry to my former CEO dude. I don't care. That guy's a millionaire. He'll be fine. I don't care about that story. The story that I care about is this new CEO. Now, if you haven't heard, Elliot Hill started at Nike as an intern in 1988. He was very passionate about the brand. He has a cool story about how he got his internship. He was very dedicated. This is a great story of dedication and being ready when the opportunity sees itself.
I take a sports marketing class and I do a paper on Nike, literally just by chance. I love the brand, the product. And so I write this paper on Nike, and it was about the evolution of their marketing funds. Mm-hmm. They started doing athletes first, and then print, and then started to move into some TV. So I did this paper, and by chance, a month or so later, a guy from Nike comes to the university, a guy by the name of Tim Joyce, comes to speak to the university, and I went up to him after, and I just said, hey, I want to work for Nike. He said, if you want to work for Nike, meet me tomorrow morning at this cafe. Put my suit on and went down there and met with him. And there's a whole story behind that, but I bothered him for about 6 months and until he finally hired me.
Amazing. Now, if you look at his LinkedIn page, there's a screenshot floating around. You'll see his entire work history is Nike and all his title changes and just moving up the ladder. What an amazing story. You know, imagine there's a brand that you are so into, the opportunity where a speaker from that brand comes, you take initiative to get an internship there because you love the brand so much, and you stay there. You know, the brand grows. He started at 1988, so that was before the Nike was what it was. So he grows with the brand. You know, and he finally, he's since retired, and then now he's being hired back as the CEO today. To me, this sounds like the perfect move. Someone that has grown with the brand, understands the brand inside and out. And not only that, Elliot Hill also understands the current landscape and how you would market in today's landscape.
If you think about before social media, athletes needed Nike to build their brand. Mm-hmm. Let me pause for a moment on that one. Think about that. So people wanted to be athletes wanted to be a part of Nike because they had an opportunity, because Nike would help showcase them and build their brand. Today, they want Nike. They don't have to have Nike. They can build their brand through social media and whatnot.
All right, so things are looking good. Immediately after the announcement of Elliot taking the helm as CEO again, Nike stock surged 10% right after the announcement, after it's been plummeting for a long time. Again, Nike's rich. They got a lot of money. They're not going anywhere. This is my question. Okay, this is their goal. This is your goal, Nike and Elliot. Can you get me to buy another pair of Nikes in the next year? Okay, I'm a sucker for marketing. I will admit that. If you have great marketing on a product, I will, and a great story behind it, and I think it's cool, I will buy it. I will go find the money, buy it. I'll figure out how to get it. Okay, Nike was always known for their great marketing. I spent a lot of money because of their marketing. Okay, my challenge: can you get me back? A guy that was such a Nike head and wore chains that excite the feds. Can you get me back? Let's see. All right. You know, I cannot leave you without an AI story, and this is a unique one, okay? But it is where I see AI going. So Lionsgate signed a deal with AI company Runway. Runway makes... They have a platform. Anyone can use it. It's kind of like stock footage platform, but it's all AI footage. So you can get an account now, and you can pay to generate your own AI content. Just Google Runway AI and you'll find it. And it actually looks really cool. I'm going to start playing with it. I don't know if I'm going to pay right away. Anyways, they signed a deal with Lionsgate. Lionsgate hired them, or maybe they approached them. I don't know. But so Lionsgate, they've been doing movies and TV shows forever. They've done The Crow. What else have they done? They've done 1992. They did Boy Kills World, Saw, John Wick, Twilight, Crash. A lot of heavy stuff. And they do have a lot of movies that have tons of special effects, VFX, all that. So they allowed Runway to create a proprietary AI platform that they can use based on their knowledge, their IP, to create new content. So this won't be externally facing. They are basically building their own master brain.
Lionsgate has become the first significant Hollywood studio to go all in on AI. The company today announced a first-of-its-kind partnership with AI research company Runway to create and train an exclusive new AI model based on its portfolio of film and TV content. Lionsgate's exclusive model will be used to generate what it calls cinematic video, which can then be further iterated using Runway's technology.
All right, so this is exciting to me. But it's also worrisome, So what is their intention? Their intention here is obviously not just to make it easier for them to create these high budget films easily, but also to save a lot of money. And I'm always weary about companies investing so much technology into something like this because they know that they can profit at the end. So be careful, like side note, be careful for these companies out here that are selling you an AI model and acting like they're for the artist, because AI is not for the artist. Maybe for the young guy that's just first dabbling in technology. But if you're a current artist or creator and there's a company saying that they're putting out tools that will support you, they are lying to you. And they have just found a way to monetize, and they have initiatives for their own personal gain.
The goal is to save money, quote, millions and millions of dollars, according to Lionsgate Studio Vice Chairman Michael Burns, by having filmmakers and creators use its AI model to replace artists in production tasks such as storyboarding. Burns said that AI will be used to develop cutting-edge, capital-efficient content creation opportunities. He added that several of our filmmakers are already excited about its potential applications to their pre-production and post-production process. Burns also told the Wall Street Journal he envisions the tool as a way to eventually replace VFX artists and wants the model to be used to create backgrounds and special effects. We do a lot of action movies, so we blow a lot of things up, and that is one of the things Runway does, he said.
Okay, at least they're being truthful here, okay? They're trying to save some money. They're trying to replace some people with some robots, okay? I'm not an expert here. I don't work in a big movie studio. I have my own little mini studio. I do a little podcast, and I'm also a freelance videographer, and I am a media agency startup. Okay, that's where I'm at right now. I'm not big budget Hollywood films. Okay. Now, the soundbites that you're hearing is from Brian Dean. He reported this story on his YouTube channel. He works at Amulet Studios. He is a VFX professional, 3D animator, industry veteran in Hollywood, and he gave his final thoughts on where this AI technology may be going.
Now, what I can tell you is I have been using AI quite a bit. I have yet to see anything that is capable of replacing a VFX pipeline or VFX artists, at least in the current state of the technology. And one of the reasons for this is that if you've worked in the VFX or animation industry, you know that there is an incredible amount of scrutiny given to every stage of the production process. And you have to be able to have the control in order to address the notes that you get from the director or the art director, whoever it is that's giving the notes. And what I have seen with AI is it lacks that level of control in the current state of things. Now, there's a lot of stuff out there that I haven't played with. I can't say that I'm an expert in all the tools that are out there, but I have yet to see anything that offers that level of control. So personally, I don't think all the jobs are going to go away. I don't think, as Cartoon Brew says, that Lionsgate is going to replace all their artists. And I think if they do try and do that, they're going to find out it was a big mistake. I do, however, think that AI will allow these companies to save money because you will make the artists working for you more productive and more efficient. Now, what that does mean is you'll probably need fewer of those artists. And then the concern is, well, isn't that going to eliminate jobs? Maybe not all the jobs, but some jobs, and that job might be your job.
So I don't know. It sounds like it's inevitable, and that's what I figured. And we may not be losing our jobs just yet, but I do feel like, more broadly speaking, I think of a lot of us creatives are feeling some kind of like AI fatigue. So we're not really like paying attention as much as we did earlier in the year or even late last year when it was still like really fascinating. I will urge you, don't drop your guard. Be very up on this new technology, where it's being implemented, and how you can maximize on it. Because I think the future of creative jobs and creative work will be around AI, knowing how to use AI. So it's really interesting to see how Lionsgate is going about this. And I want to see these AI films once they start happening. Will they be transparent about which parts are AI, if a whole film is AI? All that is to be determined. I will keep you posted the best I can, but there's always a lot of AI news. So do your due diligence and send me some stories if you hear something that I didn't hear. All right? All right. And it's that part of the show where I use AI. I'm such a hypocrite. Here I am being that creative standing against AI, and then I use AI in every single episode. It's not changing. I'm sticking to it. I was really rethinking using AI in the show, but I'm still doing it, man. It's just too good. But I gotta speak to you guys now as the AI music starts to play. Remember that theme? Let me read it again. No one does what you do. No one does what you do. Okay? You might be worried about what other people are saying. But as Steph said, you need to lean in on your niche, and that's where you're going to find your superpower. You guys don't want to hear it from me, huh? I'm not a champion. You don't want to hear it from me. Steph, can you say something, man? They'll listen to you more than me.
Do not compare yourself to anybody else. And it's easier said than done because, for me, even like in high school, I wasn't highly ranked. And you're always looking at the guys that are ahead of you. But you really have to lean into who you are, what makes you unique, and develop a work ethic around that and a confidence around that.
That's right. Lean in. Let's do some 4-4 action. Let's get up. All right, if you're sitting down, I want you to get up real quick, okay? Put on your headphones and get away from your desk real quick.
I wish I would have done that even more than I did as a kid, just because that's where your superpower can kind of be born from.
For the rest of the year, let's keep the blood flowing. Shout out, John. Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a young man named REL. He was doing his video thing and he felt away. He saw his friends getting jobs at these big companies for video, becoming creative directors, doing their own films, having their own screenings, starting YouTube channels that were successful. REL, where were you? Guess what? I was trying to be like them. Okay. No more. No more. I found myself. And myself is right here.
REL and Friends.
All right, and it is that time once again where we have to wrap up the show. Even though I don't want to, because I love hanging out with y'all. But guess what? I'll be back again next week. That's exciting, right? And I'm going to give you a recap of this hosting gig that I have coming up, okay? I'll let you know if I did well or if I completely bombed, okay? Both are possible. I'll keep you posted. All right, and if you're in New York, come see it, but by the time you hear this, it'll be over, so you can't. We were reminded today that no one does what you do, so I want you to really ingrain that in your little brain. I want you to make sure you get that locked in there. No one does what you do. Trust me, no one does what you do. When I say it like that, it sounds a little evil. No one does what you do. But Rams, we were reminded no one does what he does because he's hitting up the top of buildings. He's doing graffiti pieces on the top of skyscrapers. You don't do that. Only he does that. And no other graffiti, well, some other graffiti artists, but no one does it like him because no one else writes Rams. Okay? And if you need the right camera to film what you do, and what you do involves a lot of action, you need an action camera like the Osmo Action 5. All right. You know who else does what they do that no one else does? The new CEO of Nike. Because he started as an intern in 1988 and now he's CEO. Has anyone else done that ever? First of all, being an intern in 1988, I was barely born. Actually, I was born, but I'm not going to say how old I was. That's none of your business. And Lionsgate just signed a deal with Runway, AI company, to build its own proprietary AI brain. No one's doing that. No one does what you do. Not even AI can do what you do. I hope you guys are leaving this show feeling a little bit more motivated, a little bit more confidence in yourself, because that's what I'm here to do. Okay. I am reflecting on my own insecurities and making it public so you know that it is possible. Okay. I was a whiny little wimp for most of my creative life, but I found my way. It took me a long time, but I did. And now I want to share it with you. Okay. On that note, I need you to like, subscribe everywhere. Okay. Go to YouTube and go to a podcast app, like and subscribe. That's it. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.